I would like to greet everyone on behalf of the Ukrainian Bar Association. We will have a very interesting conversation about a perfect employer with the eyes of a lawyer, how to find such a perfect employer. And we will today also share the improvement of the website of the UAB, and we will discuss also IT solutions which help us to provide more benefit to our members. I would like to thank our esteemed speakers who found the time to join us today, and I also thank all the viewers and listeners who are together with us. I won't hold you more, and I give the floor to Mrs. Iryna. I wish everyone a fruitful discussion. Thank you very much, Inna. I greet everyone too. And the question regarding the perfection of employers, especially, it's a wonderful question. In May, we already discussed a similar topic within the framework of UAB and Ukrainian UBA, and I always like to discuss these topics as well. Today, we will have an opportunity to discuss the data which we received last year, and in the beginning of this year, we already questioned lawyers, asked their opinion on various questions, also regarding the expectations in terms of career and employment. I would like to show you several slides where actually, which we will actually use in our discussion. My screen is freezing from time to time for some reason. There is some technical issue. I kindly ask our assistants and secretariat to mail out the slides. I would like to say the main messages which our lawyers voiced. First of all, from 2016, we've been conducting this survey, and we asked lawyers, what is the base? What are the main factors which determine the employer? It's the attractiveness of a career and the attractiveness of employment. And employers, these factors have not changed even due to the war. These factors do not depend on the jurisdiction either. We always compared with the surveys which were done in the UK and the USA. First of all, is the interest in work and complex projects which require intellectual burden, intellectual involvement, also high salary. And the third factor is fast career growth. These three factors have not changed and do not change neither in 2016 or in 2021 and even this year. Also, there are two factors which have changed. Here you can see that in 2023, it's a work-life balance, the good reputation of the company. In the previous years, these factors were like an opportunity to get new knowledge and skills and to learn. And another factor was good relationships with the management and with colleagues and high corporate culture. It's a very interesting transformation, and colleagues and I, will discuss it. What are the factors they envision which can influence, let's say, the portrait of a perfect employer? What I like to mention is that HR managers always split the factors of attractiveness to those which are decisive when you make a decision whether to accept some lawyer job offer or not. And the second group of factors is those factors which hold the lawyer inside the company. So this factor of retainment, they change over time, but the decisive factors are those three which I named in the beginning. I will repeat once again, it's an interest in work, high salary, and third is the fast career growth opportunities. And here I would ask a very interesting question. And already at this stage, I would kindly ask my colleagues to give comments. You can turn off the presentation for now. So the question is, what trends, what changes, and what novelties do you colleagues see in your work? What trends, first of all? I will name the following and I'll kind of ask you to comment on them. I moderated a panel discussion in May. It was something like career hunger, a war for talents. I wouldn't like to discuss this question point blank, but because I think that good employees are always demanded. We always feel a lack of employers. There is always a fight, a war for the employees, and no external factors changes. Or maybe you have some other situations that these factors become more acute. And the second trend which we see, it's very interesting. It's understandable that now law firms in general, if we generalize this, these are not the best times for law firms, because we know that we are servants. We serve the businesses. If businesses lose positions, which are, and businesses are quite vulnerable in many sectors, lawyers lack work. It might not relate to elite companies in such a way, but we have Mrs. Babych and also Iryna. They represent elite law firms, and it will be interesting to hear how much the demand has dropped and what kind of lawyers we're looking for. And the third trend, which I would like to comment on, for this purpose, I invited Oksana Daskaliuk. She has a great experience as a senior lawyer. And in Siemens House, also Natalia, Lysa, she's the head of many, she was leading many um, famous brands as a lawyer, as far as I remember her in the legal market. And I can see that actual lawyers from law firms go to in-house positions. Maybe it's what I see because I didn't do a comprehensive analysis, or maybe it is the trend. And now in-house jobs, for some reason, are more attractive, or maybe more attractive than work in law firms. And the last question, which would be very nice to comment on, I already mentioned the patriotic position. The reputation has always been a very important factor, but also there are other factors which we notice in your job, and these factors influence how you can retain your team, your most valuable employees, to wait for the victory and to wait for good investment when businesses will will have a full breath, and corporate sector will have full breath, and we will go back, I wouldn't say to the pre-war life, because it will be definitely some other new life, but we will come to the better times, a very tasty, delicious jobs which we hope for. This is the end on my introductory speech, and I first of all would like to ask Anna Babych. Could you please tell us the career or employee hunger, is it acute or not? Thank you very much. It has become more acute. I can confirm that there is a trend that there are no talents, and I think that what we discussed earlier, now there is a time when people have finally understood that this is for loan. Before that, there were some doubts and hopes, like 2 or 3 weeks and everything will be over. But now it's like the last point when people already understand and they rearrange themselves, they adapt to this new reality. And of course, people start making decisions. For example, they were tolerant, they tolerated something, accumulated patience, and now finally, yes, some people came, some people decided that they want to leave and to be hired another place. So I can say that now is the time when people make decisions on changing their careers. And now I also heard this phrase today at one of the events, and she said regarding the standards of working with clients that in terms of Ukrainian clients, now war is no longer a justification. So the standards of working with clients is a new reality. We are now in the time of accepting new reality, and we really have this employee hunger. Uh, People headhunting hunger, and when we say about recovery period, reconstruction period, when lawyers will feel better, we can say that now this time is when the night is the darkest before the dawn. Yes, there is a high acute demand for employees, but for me, there is now, such a fight for interesting works and good salaries. And the main point is to ensure that this will hold or be retained for a certain while. This is very important for people. And next, everything depends on law firms, on firms, whether they can ensure such conditions for their employees, because the projects should match the market salaries. And I remember that last year at the beginning of the war, the first thing law firms did, they actually uh, made their budgets in compliance with what was happening, and not to mention incomes, because they lacked incomes, but they had certain reserves, partner accumulations, etc., partner savings. But from fall or from autumn, there is a change, and many leading law firms didn't come back to the pre-war salaries. Uh, Came back to pre-war salaries, and I didn't hear anyone to decrease salaries. Maybe we'll discuss salaries later in October, for example, when we will prepare another research, another survey. My question regarding hunger is from the other aspect. Yes, there was hunger, but I entered the market in 2004, and there was this hunger for employees. There was a little break in the crisis of 2008, but actually there was always certain hunger for good employees. Because so what is the hunger now? Whether it's qualified personnel or people who are ready to work in Ukraine, I agree that there was this hunger in the past, but now it is even more acute. I believe that it's in the segment from mid to senior, because seniors is the tier or the layer where so much was invested into this profession. And I think that these people just decided to make some break in their career. But there is a very good situation with students. For example, we are very pleased. We renewed our training programs, and I have never seen, I've, I haven't seen such good students before, or they were learning when there was a COVID pandemic, and now they work with under the war conditions. They are not inclusive. They are working online, and it's very interesting to observe these people, but they have such a great desire to come to offices. You can see, and it's so pleasant. They are so motivated. And this is our opportunity. We go back to basics. All partners, they just we are just rolled our sleeves and start training the youth. I actually see only a little scope of the situation, but there are some mature people who try to rethink everything and find themselves in the profession in a new way. Thank you very much for this comment. I would leave education aside so far, because I wanted to address this issue even in May, but it is so challenging and painful for me, and not just for me. I'm reacting quite painfully to this, because education is something sacred for me, and I enjoy studying myself. And 2 years of COVID and almost 2 years of war, it's not just a lack of socialization, but not all the teachers and professors managed to adapt to online work. That's the truth. But I would like to draw your attention to the point you said, that it's very important about seniors. Is if we recall the situation, actually professional qualification years is very important. And Oksana, for example, she's present with us. She used to be a senior lawyer in a law firm. And please, Oksana, could you please share with us what is your logic? Why, for example, if you don't like something in one company, or for example, your management offended you somehow, you wasn't satisfied with him, but why you haven't found yourself in Avelum or Astros because Oksana is a transactional lawyer, but you found yourself in-house position. It was very surprising for me because in my mind, you're a classic consultant, a classic legal advisor. Thank you very much, Iryna. You actually voiced half of the background, which I wanted to explain to the colleagues. In fact, the movement to the in-house position was not an obvious track for me either, because as a senior lawyers, the door to partnership was always open to me, but the war began, and the M&A practice and investment are quite vulnerable and sensitive fields to any political or economic issues. So closer to to the finish of my secondment in Germany, I understood that I don't have a clear vision what I will do in SH and whether I will have a self-fulfillment opportunities in corporate sector, or maybe I will have some career opportunities like counselor, etc. So from the point of view legal business, I had some indefinite situation, but in-house, in terms of in-house, I was suggested a very good position and several factors combined. First of all, it was senior legal counsel position that was offered to me, and it implied working with investment projects, which are startups. This is a startup which actually deals with investment a lot. And secondly, I was provided with big M&A projects and joint ventures, and I actually could work with it as an in-house lawyer, not just a counsel. So that was the first match. I saw a better opportunity for me to fulfill myself. The second match is technology. This is more stable industry, and the orientation of this company to foreign markets provides for certain stability. And for this company, I understand that this project is a long term, and this industry actually is one of the most stable since the beginning of the war. And secondly, and the third point, the third factor, especially for me, it's flexibility in terms of work hours and work-life balance. Because when I came back to Ukraine, I understood that just supporting my body in good mental and physical health state, it actually occupies more time than before. If we recall the main shellings, I understood that after 3 or 4 hours of sleep, I won't be able to be such a counselor as before. And I didn't like to be, like a hypocrite with my colleagues. Well, in-house, I understood that they could provide me with more flexibility and still with good working projects. It was a good match for me. Oksana, may I comment, please? From proposition of today, I understand that this opinion might change, but such the first, pink colored glasses from in-house, do you still wear these pink house glasses, or you understand that you can remain this in-house position and continue building your career, or you still want to come back to counseling, but you want to wait for better times? It's a difficult question. I understand that. I still want to understand and evaluate how this in-house position is suitable for me. uh, of course, in every position, in every company, there are pros and cons. There are things that I dislike and things that I like. But if answering more specifically, I still consider counseling, I still consider legal business, and I'm looking in that direction. If there will be a good opportunity and good time, I will use such an opportunity. Thank you. May I also ask you which factor is most, the main for you when you say that you're ready to go back to counseling or not? Because, I like to joke, and Natalia knows my joke, that when we speak of a complex of a complex of a god in a partner, you don't even understand their level of a complex of chief leaders, because the bosses in companies, they really have it, and they implement this complex on a daily basis, how they do something or do not do that. So what is your factor of attraction to counseling? What factor? I would say that counseling is more a dynamic environment where you have a feeling of fast victories. I can combine and compare this to in-house projects, big projects when you have absolutely non-linear project. In counseling, you have a great number of projects, great number of clients, and you feel easy victories, fast victories. Even if there are issues, you still like put ticks, you have certain successes, you build your case, and it's a totally different psychology. When will I be ready to go back to counseling? I think when the war is over and the economy will be stabilized, because I don't see for myself so far a way to deal with the project which I dealt with before the war. In the current wartime situation and economic station, I don't see opportunities for myself. Of course, this might be a good offer and a partner offer, because I actually went to many places. I have quite a lot of experience, and I would say I want to use and monetize this experience at a new level. I won't go back to a new senior lawyer position once again. It's not interesting to me again. Now it's a bliss section of questions. A partner position in Ukraine or in SA, SH. Well, you actually decided to shower me with difficult questions. I don't have a precise answer to this one. Of course, I love SH. They have a great team. They gave me a chance to grow very fast, to do good projects. If they will have a tasty, delicious offer, I will take it. But if elsewhere will be a more delicious offer, I will go there. Okay. So if after war you will look for partners, dear colleagues, you should know that Miss Oksana knows what taste is. Now uh, we will go to Mrs. Natalia. Natalia, could you please tell us, is this the golden time for in-house positions, because you keep everything in your hands and businesses really want your help right now, and not much time left to address external counsels? Or are there more career opportunities or better career opportunities in-house, in your opinion? Thank you very much, Iryna. Thank you for inviting me to this event. I greet everyone and I'm happy to be here. I thank you for these questions. I don't quite believe in the golden time, but I believe that along with the complex of God, this golden time of in-house is always a question whether your specific in-house company can turn your opportunities into golden ones or not. For example, if you had some unsuccessful experience in-house, perhaps this was the wrong company, and it might be the case. Or sometimes you failed to turn a problem into opportunity, or to make an opportunity a golden opportunity. So what do we have right now from my perspective? Talents. We have the same talents which were with us before the war. As for retaining them, we don't have to retain anyone artificially. Actually, now people are more motivated, more united. I haven't seen such a spirit and morals for many years before, compared to what we have now, at least in our team. Maybe if we compare it and link it to the results of the survey, pragmatically, maybe this relates to the salaries, because yes, when we compare, for example, salaries before the war in-house, I mean monthly salaries with monthly salaries in a legal firm, yes, legal firms were ahead. But if we take the whole package, if we take also the social support during the war, if we take the mitigation of financial risks that at least in big companies, maybe it's not so very correct to say, but there is a real sector of economy. If we speak of the big companies, I hope nobody's offended, but in this real sector of economy, we can retain salaries despite any crisis, despite any external circumstances. We do not cut down the headcount. We do not cut down the working hours, and on the contrary, we provide social bonuses and assistance, and not just locally. If you calculate then in financially in-house, an employee gets more, at least over the time of the war. As for interesting projects, now we have more of them. The work actually remained the same, plus there appeared projects which are due to the changed circumstances like digital signatures, new investment, business transformation, crisis management, donations. We do donations quite a lot, and all of them have to undergo compliance verification. Our team is involved there, so we do have more work, and it not just became interesting, but you like feel that this is social and patriotically important, because one thing is when companies declare their missions and values less before, but now you understand that now you're working to ensure that during the war a new factory is being built in Volyn region. And this is so motivating. You don't think that you have an additional work, you think on the contrary, yes, wow, I will do better for Ukraine to be easily restored and for new jobs to appear. You feel yourself involved, and also reflecting on the comments of colleagues. Yes, these are long-term lasting projects. You have to have patience. It can last for 3 to 5 years until you get a success, but they are more profound. And this is what motivates me. Regarding career growth and professional growth, it has also unfolded in house better right now, because we have understood that a lawyer, and actually this is proven by a number of examples, a lawyer should not build his or her career only in Ukraine. You can be a lawyer even without knowing the legislation in another jurisdiction. You can work in some regional regional offices or headquarters, and many companies offer such positions, and many people use such offers. We have plenty of offers and successful examples of such promotions. So we don't have such a fluency of flow of jobs or positions, actually, or people. We see that there is a growth, somebody was promoted, and we have to find a replacement. And for replacement, we look around our junior specialists. I agree with Anna that young people are now just incredible. We take interns, and they are almost ready specialists who are very fastly learning. They have different mentality. They adapt very fast. In addition, you have to teach them to write more, not just to type on the keyboard. Perhaps the online world is not that bad. Perhaps they come with a clean slate of consciousness, and you can do something. For example, Ernst and Young, they also already actually rejected the option of having work experience, because have the internal learning training academy. I understand the situation. My child will be entering university next year, so I'm kind of anxious. Natalia, from your words, I have made a conclusion that it's very good to have to be an international company, a big company. It's not just a golden time for in-house, but it's a golden hour for in-house positions in big companies, because size matters and the scope, the scale matters. It might sound sort of discriminatory compared to local law firms, because legal companies, national legal firms never lost to international companies, and the fight for employees was always among local companies as well. It's not like a person will be choosing because would always choose in favor of Baker and McKenzie. Many people, our professionals, they compared these offers with equal conditions. But now, have you heard I right? Have I heard I right? You right that the international component is important. Yes, of course, because these are new horizons, new career opportunities, new opportunities to discuss, to communicate with international foreign teams, and even financial. When there is crisis, you get assistance, you get help and aid, not just in your country from your budget, but you get financial aid from other countries. Our employees who relocated when it was necessary, we won't mention those times, but still, when they had to be relocated, our representative offices in other countries supported those employees. Yes, we can do more. We have recently invented in safety of our office to such an extent that in our office it is more comfortable and safe to be than at home. Our people, at least the legal department, they mostly come to the office. It is very rare when they stay at home, although we don't force people to come to the office, but it's more comfortable here. It's like, escaping from the stress, war-related stress. I'm I would say that if we're limited only to our local budget, we couldn't do so much for our employees. We couldn't implement such large scale projects. Thank you very much. I would like to give the floor to Iryna. We have also already discussed the advantages of local business, international businesses. We discussed salaries. We discussed the tough choice. The main aspects is what we have covered, but I am sure that there are other points, let's say soft factors, which might not be measured, but you can feel that they play the role. So why I wanted to see you in our team, in our company today, because if Anna, for example, she's actually the founder and equity partner of a firm, but you are a young generation who will break the spine of our senior professionals. You are the new generation. I remember you as a junior lawyer in a law firm, and now you have this status of head of the practice. So I wanted to hear from you regarding other aspects which play a role and help you to win this war for employees. You see, there was such an internal decision that we can cope with employee hunger by retaining our team and growing our own personnel. If, for example, we cannot find a senior lawyer in the market, why don't we grow him or her ourselves? And this is the basis of our relationships within the company. Regarding training, I would say that now they are less now we have less formalized and standardized relationship, because before the war we built some matrices, we tried to maintain some structured team. Now everything is different. Now is the time of individual approaches and individual solutions. First of all, in communication, in working hours, regarding vacations. And actually, this is work-life balance, but the demand for work-life balance is now higher, and employers understand this. They seek to find comfort for their employees, and maybe this actually has become that the factor is that the emotional connections, emotional relationships have become paramount. In companies offline, in offline companies, it was always important, but now it is even more important. We are not in a vacuum. The war is the reality of our work as well. And so, in my opinion, to be efficient is first of all to work in a balanced environment, because at least something in your life should be stable. If, for example, there is electricity shutdowns, air raid alarms, but the emotional atmosphere in your team and your work should be stable, because like it said, a human always needs a human. Now a human needs support and understanding. This is very important nowadays today. And for example, the first cup of coffee in the morning, uh, for example, we have some rat or rabbit which our whole office feeds, and we do some other stuff together to feel confident. But now also there is an opposite side, reverse side, that you shouldn't lose like cold-blooded attitude. Not a too emotional manager is not the best option, because, for example, when the full-scale aggression will be over and there will be victory, and how we will return to those standardized type of relationships after the war, we will speak about this. Because, for example, online in-house positions, uh, if, for example, they will say come back to the office all the time, half of the people will quit because they already used to working online. Now is the demand of the time. We have to comply with the comfort needs of people. And the second point is that in the first year of the after the beginning of the aggression, now actually the time when people expect mutual loyalty, like employees have given themselves to the utmost, and they expect that the company appreciates that and gives a promotion. For example, over the last year, we had 4 promotions from a junior lawyer to senior lawyer. For me, actually, it's a career jump, and it was the most difficult career jump for me too. At the same time, it's the solution of the issue of employee or personnel hunger, and it's a very good priority for the company. I think it should be a priority. Thank you very much for this comment. I recall how several weeks ago I was given a comment to a British research agency regarding the situation in Ukraine, and when I said, and the researchers told us bluntly, we don't know what to do, because on one hand we want to rate Ukrainian companies, but we don't understand what factors to use. I said that they will have to combine 2 things: that there is the war, but business keeps going as usual. Thank you, colleagues. I would like to thank all the speakers for their participation, for their contribution to our dispute. And if we summarize, I will put it very simply. Number one, all the factors actually play a role, and you support this, and you as employers keep playing by these rules. But for yourselves, you also determine additional factors which help you as employers to involve, to hire, and retain your employees. These factors are more or less individual, but some of them are general. I heard the word stability. In this actually flow of instability, this is very important, because it's very difficult to plan anything in terms of work for tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. So stability is very important, both for the employers and for employees. This is actually the conclusion I've made from our discussion today, that stability is very important and we can ensure it as employers. That's what I heard from you. I appreciate our speaker's contribution, your comments, and I give the floor again to Mrs. Ina. Thank you very much, Iryna. I always wanted to join the gratitude words to all the speakers. It was very interesting to listen to you, to follow the trends which take place in Ukraine right now. For us, as the Ukrainian Bar Association, is very important, because from the very beginning of big war, it was very important for us to support the legal professions. Today, we wanted to share good news with you, the results of our work, which will perhaps give you an answer to the question where to find a perfect employer. I will share my screen right now and show you 2 additional modules which we have developed for the UBA's website. Could you please tell me whether you see the screen? Yes, but please unfold it. Okay, I'm folding my screen. Do you see it right now? This is our new website of the Ukrainian Bar Association, which we launched at the beginning of this year. We are proud of this product and we hope that it will be very useful, not just for our members, but for the legal profession in general. We have a lot of information. We always publish it in the manual format. We process it but we wanted to automate the processes so that even more information would be available. We have developed two additional volumes, career and educational platform. We hope that this will be very useful. In the career, you can see vacancies or job positions and CVs. Actually, if you push the job positions, you see the vacant jobs which are available in Ukraine or abroad for Ukrainian lawyers. It can be full-time job, part-time job, internship, trainings, and other types of involving Ukrainian lawyers, which are now available. We started filling in this page. Here in the center, you see all the vacant jobs. You can see interesting information, and simultaneously on the page on the right, you can see news, which also relate to professional growth, to careers, and that might be interesting to lawyers. Now we are also adjusting the individual cabinet for users, user cabinet, and when we finish it in several days, all the employers can register themselves on this website on their own and add the vacancies. Also, there is an opportunity for job seekers. If you put a button CV, you can see only one CV here, but we would like to give opportunity to everyone who's looking for a job to upload their CVs and actually build a bridge between employers and employees, those who seek jobs. In order to register and use career opportunities, you don't have to be a member of the Ukrainian Bar Association. This option is available to all lawyers, but you have to get authorized to register in the cabinet. And also there is a training or educational platform button. This is a module by means of which we would like to ensure even more opportunities for self-education for lawyers on the subject which are interesting to you. In this module, there are several trainings already or training courses. We accumulate the base of training courses and not just training courses, but any and all kinds of events like webinars, podcasts, trainings, workshops, and lawyers can choose the subjects they're interested in. For example, if a training course, there's video materials, also literature which you can read, and certain tests which a lawyer can undergo, and we can understand whether a lawyer has learned well. And after this test, the system will issue a certificate. In such a convenient form, we would like to support the legal community in acquiring new knowledge and skills. Now we invite potential service providers, legal businesses, organizations. If you have a content which might be useful, or you know about some educational opportunities, if you have a content which might be useful to Ukrainian lawyers, please share it with us. Or you can upload it on your own, or you can get in touch with our team and we will put this information on the platform manually so that this information will already be used. And basically for Ukrainian lawyers, could please tell us what subjects are interesting to you, what sectors or vacancies, or maybe subjects for self-education are interesting so that you understand, so that we understand in which direction we should move. And if you have a CV which you would like to share, the button doesn't work yet, but you can send CV to us and we'll be happy to upload it manually. We'll also be glad to help you with the information. Please share it with anyone tell about us on social media, and we will hope that jointly we will be able to fill in this information hub with the information which will be even more useful. I thank you very much, and I think again, I think everyone who sees us today, perhaps anyone has questions to our speakers or regarding the platform. If there are any questions, we still have 10 minutes at least, and we will be happy to discuss those. No questions so far. Iryna, do you think everything is clear? Everything is clear. The question is, how should I nod? Like this or like this? Yeah, that's true. In Bulgaria, it's very interesting feature. As far as I understand, no questions so far. I would like to thank you all on behalf of the Ukrainian Bar Association. I would like to thank you for your time. Please give us your feedback. We always enjoy reading about what is good, what can be improved, especially regarding new projects. Please stay with us. We will be happy and thankful for your feedback.